We're going to start this off with my guest for today, man. We're going to bring in the one and only Jason Goff, man. Jason, what's going on, bro?
What's up, bro? How can you hear me? Everything good?
Yes, I can hear you. You are good. You are good and clear, yeah.
Everything good, man. How are you?
I am doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good amidst all the chaos in Chicago sports right now. But for those of you who don't know, this is Jason Goff, man. He is the pre and post host for the Chicago Bulls on NBC Sportsnet, and he is also host of his own podcast, The Full Go, on the Ringer Network right now. Lot of things going on in the sports world. Before we get into the craziness of Chicago sports, I want to talk about the big trade that happened in the NBA this week. Damian Lillard going to the Milwaukee Bucks, which came pretty much out of nowhere this week. Of course, we all know how that affects everything. But what was your initial reaction to Dame going to the Bucks and just this whole saga, how it went about?
I mean, you find out how much of the man you are and you aren't in certain points in your career. And for 12 years, Damian Lillard was the man in Portland, but it just didn't amount to as much winning as we expect his caliber or his stature of player. And that's why, and this is probably off the beaten path, but you got to marvel at the fact that building your team around a 6'3" and under player and looking at it historically throughout the years of the NBA, how much success teams have been able to have with that, and whether it's limited or capped or whatever the case may be. Like Allen Iverson taking that team to the finals is amazing. Isaiah Thomas, for everything that people don't like about Isaiah Thomas, he was far and away the best player on the team, as small as he was, and taking down giants in the league, literally, right? So, and then you get to Steph Curry in this age where, say what you want, Steph not only changed the game, but he was the best player on a team at that size. When you have a player that size, sometimes it's capped. And I think Damian Lillard realized that at the end here. And the problem, I won't say the problem, but the most interesting thing I think about this is finding out that you're not LeBron, you're not Kevin Durant, you're not some of these guys who can press that button and find themselves in the environment that they want to be in. Now, Portland being as spiteful or petty, whatever you want to call it, as they were, and how we found out, Chris Haynes, who was on that beat before Chris blew up to, be the national correspondent that he is. Chris Haynes was covering Portland and Damian Lillard for years. So him having the inside track to that information, and Damian saying, this is what happened. Things fell through. I wanted to come back. They told me don't come back. You found out that in that instance, you weren't the man. The moment they drafted Scoot Henderson, the Jeremy Grant signing was a little, I won't say questionable, but it was like, so what are y'all doing? Is this a rolling rebuild, or are you starting it all the way over? And the fact that they got the package that they got for Damian Lillard tells you that this wasn't about the team getting better or the organization getting better. This was about sending a message to a guy who, they thought they nurtured and developed over the first 10, 11 years of his career. So it was a little shocking. And it's shocking also because, Giannis Antetokounmpo now has done this for the third time. Where, he barks a little bit and all of a sudden the point guard got to go. And whether it be Eric Bledsoe and now Drew Holiday, Giannis looking around and seeing what Jimmy did to Drew in that postseason, that matters. And on top of it, where can I get 40 from when I'm getting trapped or when my ankle gives out on me? Like, who can I lean on? And now that Chris Middleton has suffered his injury issues, that Giannis Antetokounmpo cares about winning. And when stars start starring, you got to listen, or else you're going to be on the wrong side of the equation.
Yeah, we said that on the show last week. Shout out J.R. Bain, shout out Mikey. He'll be on in a couple minutes. I said last week to the Giannis thing was kind of like when your girl starts bringing up shit that you don't do, like randomly. You just like, yo, like what's going on? Like I was like, put Giannis first. Put Giannis first before he leave you and do some other stuff. And obviously that's what Milwaukee did. And what I also like,
it was even worse when she bring up shit that you are doing. That's right, when you're in trouble. Forget to what you're not doing part. When she start detailing and itemizing exactly what you are doing, it's like, all right, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and do this laundry real quick. Then I guess let me
go and wash this dish real quick.
Right. You already know.
That's probably what they had right there. But they listened to him, and now you have Damian Lillard. Now I think here, if we look at like the power dynamics of like really more of the Eastern Conference, because West is the West, you know, that's really unpredictable every year. You know, I think the Lakers had a great offseason. Denver didn't really lose anybody of substance. I think that's going to be a battle over there. But with the Eastern Conference, I kind of feel like this maybe makes them the favorite. What do you think that this kind of takes? Because it's kind of a weird situation where the Bucks were already a favorite. Do you think it makes them overwhelming with Dame, or what do you think about how it changes the Bucks trajectory?
They should come out of the East, and the issues if they don't come out of the East, they'll be present, right? It'll be health.
Yeah,
it'll be health. It'll be a new coach. It'll be also their bench, right? Like the whole big three thing. You know, if you notice, teams aren't really trying to do that as much anymore. Yeah. It's just like a big 2, medium 5 kind of vibe going on out there. I mean,
a big 2.5. Yeah.
Right? Look at Denver, right? Aaron Gordon had the weight of the world on his shoulders in Orlando. And the moment he was slotted correctly, he came to fruition as the kind of player that they thought he could be coming out of Arizona, right? So it's like you can get your big 3 together, but the days of throwing Joel Anthony and Mario Chalmers as the other 2 guys and say we can go win a championship is those days I think are long gone, especially with the way the cap is being punitive in your roster composition. So if you're looking at the Bucks right now, you say, okay, I got to worry about the best pick and roll, one of the best pick and roll players in the modern generation. And then I got to worry about Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is top 3, top 4 when he's healthy. And then I got a guy who, when he's healthy, can knock down big shots in big games, but they're going to have to be on the court a lot.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be on the court a lot. So now you got to figure out, okay, how many games really matter in the regular season for us? Now with the whole load management rules that are coming into play, like they should come out of the Eastern Conference. They should.
Yeah.
With everything that's happening with Philly and all these other squads, with Boston, you know, we don't know what they're going to look like now that a guy like Marcus Smart, who is the extension of the coach, like the dude,
the heart and soul. That's it.
Yeah, every good team need a collar snatcher. Every good team need an asshole. So once you get that guy off your team, then what? You know, they got 2 of those guys. Like this whole Boston thing is going to be interesting because Grant Williams and Marcus Smart kind of played the same role. You know,
forgot about Grant's in Dallas. Yeah.
Hey, you need somebody to keep dudes off your dudes. And on top of it, you need somebody when things ain't going the way it's supposed to. Yeah, I'm going to get a tech for no reason. I'm going to embarrass everybody out here because it ain't going the way it's supposed to go. Now, you replace that with Kristaps Porzingis energy. So now you're relying on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to be the next level leaders that you know they can be or you hope they can be, but now you can't wait on it, right? Because Marcus Smart and Grant Williams right there. So the Eastern Conference is topsy-turvy. Miami, you know they don't care about the regular season, so what does that matter? Cleveland's going to have to get ready to break up these 2 big men, right, at some point here because you're going to have to pay the other one. Evan Mobley's going to have to
exactly. He the one got to get his bread.
And, you know, and it's about the moves you don't make too, man, because take a look at it. You know, the Knicks messed around and looked Donovan Mitchell squarely in the eye and said, we can't give up that much for you, and then beat him in the postseason, handed him. So it's like, the Eastern Conference is a whole bunch of fun storylines, a whole bunch of silliness going. It's much like the NFC, in football, where it's like you got all the quarterbacks in the AFC, and then you got the NFC trying to figure it out. But we know
who's the best ones, right?
Yeah, exactly. We know in the end, all right, Philadelphia, come on through, right? San Francisco, come on through. Like they're going to be good enough to I'd probably be in the top 3, obviously, because regular season talent is going to shine, but it's about how they're going to be rested and how they're going to be managed because Milwaukee now, especially with Damian Lillard, they don't care about winning on the road. So will I see them as the best team coming out of the East? They're supposed to, talent-wise, but regular season, I won't be scared if they're, 3rd or 4th in the East because it's going to take time, too. It's going to take time.
Superstar league, as long as you got the guys on your team, it kind of doesn't matter where home court is at. And I think we saw that this year.
And we're going to have to figure out, this is the first time we're going to see Damian Lillard as not the man. Even when he got there with LaMarcus Aldridge, part of LaMarcus Aldridge going to San Antonio was like, this dude got this. And everybody in this organization understood it and looked at him and was like, all right, man, you got it. Like we bumped our head a little bit with LaMarcus Aldridge. There's a capped ceiling with that, a damn good player. Don't get me all-star, like 2010 guy, right? But it was a limited ceiling.
There's only so much he could do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. It's like DeAndre Ayton. I'm part of this trade. Like DeAndre Ayton is 2010. 20 and 10, #1 pick overall, and we talk about, you know, he needs a new lease on life, a change of scenery. He's gonna be whoever he is at the next spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop and don't act. People waiting for DeAndre Ayton to become Shaq or something.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, just let him be as good as he's gonna be, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Karl-Anthony Towns is who he is. Like, these guys, water always gonna find its level. Yeah. So whether you got a hole down here or a hole up here in the cup, it's gonna find its level. And at some point, you got to realize maybe it's you with the outsized expectations.
Yeah, I even think I saw that the video the Blazers posted, and it looked like, you know, DeAndre Actors act like he got out of prison, which is quite hilarious, and that just kind of tells you just how much he hated Phoenix.
hey,
so,
you know, a little change of scenery, you could change that phone number up. You know, you got a new flock, you know, in the Pacific Northwest that you can start poaching from. It's a good time to be DeAndre. Good time.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's move on to the sad state of affairs in the Chicago sports area. You know, first of all, before we get to the mess that is the Bears, we're just talking about the NBA. Bull season is about to start off. You know, media day is next week. From your perspective, now I know AK just spoke, I think it was like a day or two ago. I didn't see it because I've kind of tuned them out. Like, it's kind of like Eberflus press conferences at this point. And the most shocking thing that I did see tweeted out was he didn't expect the offense to be that bad, which was funny. But with the additions of a Javon Carter, of a Torrey Craig, you know, the Zach LaVine trade rumors being arrested, what you are expecting from the Bulls? Now, I know we had you on my Bulls podcast last year. Like, is there anything that's much different from a year ago that you think about this team, or, you know, the same thing?
I mean, the principal characters are the same, but it's how will they perform, right? Like DeMar DeRozan at the end of last year, we saw DeMar DeRozan wear down injury-wise, right? Like, DeMar has always been a cat that no matter what he was going to play, it's one of the tougher dudes in the league. But year 13, year 14, the things that happen to you are getting ready to happen. So
things break down.
And I think this team has a simple math problem, man. They don't take enough threes. And for everybody out there, well, you just want them to throw up more threes? No. I mean, the profile of how they play offensively has to change. They got to play faster. They have to play faster. And the problem is two of the three guys that are their principal offensive producers aren't pace players.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're not a pace player, that means you got to find threes somewhere else. And if you're not finding those threes somewhere else, you have to protect that arc like nobody's business. So the simple math equation won't come out on the wrong side, you know, more times than not. That's why with this talent, they've hovered around the same win total over the last couple of years as well, because you're playing an uphill game every night if you're not taking at least 30 threes, 32, 33, 34 threes a game, because teams who get a chance to run and do it, they're finding threes on the break. Like, fast breaks now have become fast threes. So it's
exactly.
If you it's all like, I don't mean it's all nerdy basketball shit, but like when we take a look at it, the Bulls don't hit the offensive glass, right? Yep. So you've always got people back. So sometimes that defensive efficiency can be a little bit misleading, because if I've always got people back and I'm going to stop you because I'm not taking the ball out of the, you know, you're not taking the ball out of the net, and I got people back, well, that's limiting also the fact that those offensive rebounding opportunities, the 3 or 4 that might lead to, you know, 6, 7 extra points, that affects the bottom line. So if I'm always back and we're not taking any threes, the equation is kind of jacked up. Then you put yourself in a position that you have to play as efficient as you possibly can in the half court and the mid range, which is where, you know, DeMar DeRozan and
DeMar lives. What makes
yeah. So it's like you have to be damn near perfect every night offensively with that equation. So if something's going to change and you have the same players, you know, I like to see Patrick Williams get the ball off the glass and run. You know, it's the only way.
I like to see him do anything.
Well, it's the thing. It's the thing. We keep waiting. Like, I'm hearing people say, like Arturo said, you know, young guys, pretty much our young guys got to play better. Like we know we're getting out of Zach, we know we're getting out of Vooch, we know we're getting out of DeMar. Our young guys got to play better. Well, you know, young guys also got to feel like they're a part of it too.
Yep.
And Kobe White, Patrick Williams, Ayo Dosunmu, some of these other guys, like you have a 10-man rotation. You've got 5 guards that you have to play. Like you've got one wing who could also play the 4. Like there's so many different responsibilities. And on top of it, hey man, when you get the ball, can you shoot it every single time? Like that's why you see Kobe White and Patrick Williams kind of at a crossroads right now, like one going one way seemingly and the other one being a little bit more neutral or stagnant than the other ones, because Kobe White understands that when I got the ball now, I either have to be the reason why we get in the basket or I got to be the guy taking the shot, because to ask that much of these young dudes, and it's expected because they're getting paid, right? Like they're NBA players.
Kobe just got a new contract.
Yeah. You getting this much leeway in the offense. You got to take it, right? So it's not only on everybody else making sure that these young dudes are playing the style that they want to play, because when they're in there, they want to run, right? And if you're not taking the ball off the rim and you know DeMar's getting it, well, you know you got to get to your spot on the court now. It's half-court game. So if he's the main decision maker more times than not, then there's a certain pace that you are going to be forced to play. Like in a perfect world for me, you know, and I thought this midway through last year, like when you give a guy a max contract, it's time for you to allow the game to show him what he can and can't do. Like it's time to, you know, hey, DeMar, half of these possessions where you take it off the rim and you dribble it up, hey, look for 8 or let 8 take it off. Like I want to see the things now. You work hard and we see it. The issue is I think they have so much respect for each other that, you know, one may
they're scared to butt heads.
Not even scared. It's they both know why they're there. Like they both know what got them there. Like it's like when you hear people talk about coaches, right? And you hear somebody go, "Why is this coach running this defense there?" Well, shit, this is what got him hired. Right? Like this is, you know what I'm saying? Like this is like all of a sudden you're gonna go home like, "Hey, baby, we gotta run a 3-4 because this coach getting my ass."
We gotta switch it up now.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, but baby, you don't know how to teach that. Shut up, goddammit. We gotta run this. We gotta figure this out. You know?
I didn't ask all that.
Right. At this point in DeMar's career, you're like, hey, we need you to take it back to the San Antonio.
Yeah.
You know, DeMar with a bunch of young kids and in a building culture. And you're like, wait a minute, though. I done told everybody in the league that I was the man and y'all should have signed me. And these last 2 years of proving that, it's kind of hard to come off that. You know, if you Zach, it's kind of hard to go play with Team USA, be around the best in the world and have them be like, yo, you cold. Like, you pretty dope. Like, all the shit that we've heard about you, you know.
It's valid.
And then you come back to the crib and you're like, hey, man, I am pretty dope. Like, you know what I mean? You start looking around at the locker room like, guess who I'm better than? You know, and I'm not saying that's what he did, but I'm just saying it's like you got 2 guys who have proven their worth in the NBA, and it's up to one of them to say, all right, this is obviously not working.
Yeah.
Like you go from 46 wins to 40 wins. And the Lonzo Ball piece has been removed long enough that that is the outlier now. Yeah. You've got enough raw data for a year and a half with this group. What's going to change? So if the principal characters aren't changing, what are the characters going to do to change this thing? So now, you know, and shout out to my man Casey Johnson. I read the piece on NBCSportsChicago.com about, you know, using Vooch in a more Domantas Sabonis kind of role, and you know how Thad was when he was here, that elbow cutting off him and kicking it out and all those things. Cool. It sounds good. I want to see the application of it, because you're getting to a point, and Vooch already said it. Like, I don't say anything that these dudes ain't saying. Vooch is like, yo, this is the last go round for this squad.
Yeah.
So if it's the last go round, is it the, you know, hey man, you cold, I'm cold go round, or is it the let's prove something here and try to get some wins on the way out? You know, so that's what this season will be for me, just seeing how those 2 guys' roles change, if at all, with the results being what they have been over the last year and a half as far as the offense is concerned. Because I can take this defense being, 9th, 10th
middle
in the
of the
league.
road. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
11th in the league. I can't the offense being at 24th in efficiency and with the amount of threes they're not taking, you're setting yourself up for issues, man.
Definitely. I know you're on a time crunch, man. So okay, cool. Well, this is the thing about
I got about 10 more minutes.
Perfect, cool. Because we're definitely gonna need 10 minutes to talk about these Chicago Bears. For the Bears, man, as I call this upcoming Sunday, I'm calling it the Huff Bowl. Between the Bears and the Broncos. I was there at Hallis Hall, the crazy Wednesday where everything went on.
Yeah, I was following you. Yeah, shout out to you for moving with some principles up there.
Oh, I appreciate you. Because there was a lot of food stuff going on.
Yeah, it was understood.
Reporting wise.
No, trust me, it was very apparent who was moving the way they were supposed to.
Yeah. So like with everything going on, man, with Justin, and I kind of feel like even when we talked to him on Wednesday, like I know a lot of people said he looked broken, and that might be part of it, but I kind of feel like he was just tired of talking to the media, which I can understand. What's your whole opinion on just this whole mess that's going on? Do you think that there's a way that they could turn this around? Because there's 14 more games, or is it just cooked?
Yeah, I think this is it for Justin Fields, and it might have been it going into the season, man. I mean, when you and I talked about this on my pod, they dropped this morning, last night, whenever you get it. I didn't need Peter King to tell me that there hasn't been a heavy investment in Justin Fields since the moment he was drafted. You look at how Matt Nagy handled the situation, and then you pass that situation off to a defensive coordinator who's a first-time head coach and an offensive play caller who's never called plays on this level before. The year before that, the year before that, obviously Matt Nagy and the Andy Dalton thing and, going through that and seemingly putting him in an offense to show the Bears brass in the front office that, hey, this kid can't play and I told you so, because that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. Then you move on. You hand him over to a defensive coordinator and a guy who's never called plays on the NFL level before. And then you do that behind a line that was as bad as we've seen. We've seen some bad lines in this city, right?
Man.
So you do that with a line as bad as they were, and then you don't give him any wide receivers, really, outside of Darnell Mooney and a couple of guys. Like Equinemius St. Brown did exactly what he was supposed to do, right? He played to the best of his abilities. But there is no throwaway year on a rookie contract for a quarterback that you care about. There is none. So when I was saying this and everybody was like, Ryan Poles he's doing what he's supposed to do. They're trying to get the #1 pick. And I'm like, wait, I thought it was finding out if the person taking snaps from center is the one to go forward. Because then you have much better evaluation of what exactly it is that you need. So from the moment that happened, I was like, oh, okay, this is a split building. And I've thought that ever since. And I said it ever since. And these last couple of weeks, apparently, the football gods have graced us with voices from heaven of guys who've been fired from this organization before, and national reporters who only come on down when the shit is hitting the fan. If you've been listening, if you've been reading, if you've been, watching come on, dog. Like,
I've seen all the whole rollout.
Does it look like a nurturing environment?
No,
it doesn't. And there's no two ways about it. So it's possible. I don't believe it's that he can't play, but it's possible. Okay, say he can't play, then what? It's just you just throw him on the pile of quarterbacks that we have rooted for, thought was going to be good, and turned out not to be good. So and then within this close proximity of each other, usually you get that veteran stopgap in between where it's like, okay, this is requisite quarterback play. You went from Mitchell Trubisky to this. So both of these dudes, you had one who performed at a high level in two different conferences that are noted in the SEC and Big Ten. And then the other guy was like, oh, he didn't have enough starts. He's still one-on-one class.
He's a project.
Right. So the organization, forget the regime, forget the front office, the organization, the franchise itself has had 2 of these within close proximity of each other, and both of them have failed. At what point are we going to act like maybe, just maybe, it's the people who are doing the hiring? You know, like Ryan Poles, the moment he did the whole taking the North and all that other, I was like, all right, man, like
I'm tired of hearing this.
No, we can't wait. We can't wait. You know, like Bears fans are like, you know, like you ever, well, I'm about to say, it's like going through, it's like going through the hood when you just got the new whip, you know what I mean? And you go through the hood,
you got a whole bunch of dudes on the corner.
Pull up, you just pull up, and you're like, take a look at me, you know what I mean? Well, all right, you shining to them, right? But
let me get that.
Right, you won't, right, that too, but you won't do that to anybody who's living like that. Everything is shining to us as Bears fans. Everything. Oh, wait. Can't wait for this. This man said he going to get the #1 pick and tear this thing down to the studs. And guess what?
And we believe every word.
And guess what? This year's your payoff.
Yeah.
That's why that tank loss stuff, that sounds great for sports radio. That sounds amazing in like barbershop conversations where you know you got 35 minutes with a dude you ain't talking to for the next 6 days. When you have to walk around. And you know, I've talked to players about this, man. Any team that is looking at 53 men who are giving life and limb and saying, yo, we need next year's #1 pick, though?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we are. Oh, yeah?
Exactly.
Bet. Guess what's happening with this film time? Guess what's happening with this training table that I'm supposed to be on? You know, hurrying up to get back. You watch this injury list over the next few weeks. Watch his injury list and see, you know, which 4 to 6 week injuries is taking 2 to 3. Because they take 2 to 3 sometimes when you win. They take that full 6.
Losing.
What?
He need an IR visit.
What? You kidding me? Hey, shit went from a sprained ankle to I'm pregnant. I think I might be out for a little bit. So the whole Bears thing, like, it's bigger than Justin Fields. It's bigger than Nino Brown. It's bigger than everybody in that building. And now you got the issue of, because the Tyson Bagent conversation is starting.
That's
now.
gonna get louder. Yeah. It
was PJ Walker's 1 gig, man. He just had to keep that gig so he can keep people off Justin's back. But it's gonna get nasty. This is the How Much Do You Love Football Bowl coming up here on Sunday.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think like even like from when you said like, you know, how it feels like in the building like on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? I kind of felt like the most juice that I felt in there was when the Damian Lillard trade went through, which tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. The locker room was going crazy when the Dame Lillard trade broke, and that was pretty much about it. And it just kind of felt like everybody was on there, Marshawn Lynch, I'm just here so I don't get fined. And so I've been a Bears fan my entire life, and I've seen a lot of bad rosters, but this to me is as worse as ever felt. Like even Trestman took to like the end of his 2nd season for it to get this bad. Like it's gotten bad so quickly, and I do believe if they lose on Sunday, I don't think they might get fired. They lose on Sunday only because it's a short week. But if they lose,
fired, Scott.
Even if they go on 5, you don't think nobody's getting fired?
Scott, when's the last time a Bears coach got fired in the middle of the season?
Ever, never. So
why you got to
what odds?
What FanDuel odds did you get on this one? That you think somebody gonna get fired this week? All right, what make you think some shit that ain't never happened before just gonna happen this week?
I'm trying to hold on to something. At this point, I've got nothing.
And I've seen you, because I watch. I see you on Kevin Warren, and I'm gonna tell you right now, what house you walking into that you know is troubled, and you know you didn't have anything to do with it, and you just gonna start cleaning up the crib. What house are you, Scott? You done been over many people's raggedy ass cribs. You done walked in, and then be like, "Oh, this how y'all living?" You hold your shit real tight. You know, you make sure you shake it out after you leave, whatever the case may be. But never do you ever walk in there and start picking up and cleaning up. No. You wait till you got some steak. You wait till you got some ownership in that. He just got here 2 minutes ago. Y'all already bungled the Arlington Heights situation. I'm over here cleaning that up. You know, now I got to make it seem like we got suitors from all around the city. And on top of it, you want me to handle the football part? Man, I bet. Yeah. And my clock don't start until his is done anyway. We good. What's Kevin Warren out here like, hey, keep me out of this, fam.
I ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm going to be up here in this suite.
That's it. I'll get y'all the new place. I will get y'all I'm not cleaning up the old one. I will not clean up the old one.
Oh man, definitely, man. But that's pretty much all I wanted to get into with you today, man. I know you got a lot of stuff to do, man. I appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come speak with us. Let the people know they can get in tune with you. You know, your podcast, everything you got going on, bro.
And the Full Go on Spotify, brought to you by the good folks with the Ringer. Sunday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, we drop, or whenever there's an emergency podcast that is necessary. Of course, the basketball season is getting ready to start up again on NBC Sports Chicago. So me and Kendall and Will be back, you know, doing what we do this season on NBC Sports Chicago. First game is October 25th against the Thunder. We got preseason starting up. Like you mentioned, Media Day is on Monday. We got a season preview show coming up on Monday. So, yeah, man, we back to work, man. Had to put the controllers down, you know what I mean? Had to shake off the summer, still smelling like summer a little bit, so had to shake that off. You know, had to come out here, detox, and get ready to get back at it.
Get back to it.
Man. I appreciate you having me on too, by the way, brother. I know you've been chasing me for a little bit. A couple of things happened, but I wanted to give you my time and also wanted to hang out with you. So I appreciate you having me,
I appreciate that, bro. Definitely appreciate it, man. I know with the NBA coverage is real fast, and I'm headed back to LA next week, getting ready for this season. Let's see if Kawhi and PG can stay healthy. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Let's see if PG gonna be on the team. You know
that too. We'll see how that goes, man.
Things might change.
Yeah, definitely, man. But I thank you, bro, for joining us, man.
Appreciate you, man. Anytime, brother.
Yes, sir.